Counter-Strike economy is incredibly complicated. There are weapons that give you more or less money for kills, various bonuses you can get depending on what your team does throughout a round, and loss bonuses that will better help you to balance out the economy. What the hell does any of this mean? Well, we're gonna make it as simple as possible in this Counter-Strike economy guide simplified. And of course, we gotta start with the pistol round. Now, in every pistol round, you're gonna get 800 credits, and winning the round is gonna give you 3250 credits, which is a lot of credits, but you can actually get more credits depending on how you win the round and what you do in that round. So you can score an extra $250 for you and your team if on T side you let the bomb explode, and if on CT side you successfully defuse the bomb. You're also gonna get 800 per person if you plant, but you do it before the round ends and it gets diffused. Pretty confusing, but don't sweat these numbers too much because I'm going to make it more simple for you in a little bit. Now, one of our golden rules that is going to make you understand economy more, in general, T side has a huge economy advantage over CT side. There are more ways to make money by just doing what you're supposed to do on T side, and you don't have to buy diffused kits, and CT has some rifles that are a bit more expensive. So yeah, it costs some extra money to be the good guys, I guess. Now, on top of that, all these weapons give you different amounts of money per kill. And the thing about this is it gets really confusing, so I'm going to put a handy-dandy graph up here while I go through some of them so you can just visualize what guns do. Because most rifles give you 300 per kill, even if not all of them do. Same thing with most pistols. Most SMGs, though, give you 600 per kill, but not all of them. Most shotguns give you 900 per kill, and the AWP gives you only 100. So you can actually be really punished for buying an AWP, even if you pop off in the next round with it, because you're not farming any kill money. So yeah, keep that in mind. And another thing that an individual can do to make some money is just be the planter or the diffuser yourself. You're gonna get an extra 300 credits just for you. Buy yourself something nice. Now, there's also a loss bonus that you'll get every progressive round that you lose. And I'm not going to make too big of a deal for this. Just keep in mind you're going to be getting a little bit more money every additional round you lose, which means that if you have been getting dominated round after round, don't give up and don't just throw economy out the window, because there's a built-in comeback system with economy that prevents as much snowball, which means you won't just keep being behind in economy forever. Eventually, you'll catch up and match the enemy in economy, and then you can use it to leverage into some winning rounds with powerful weaponry, as long as you don't throw everything out the window and just start buying random stuff all the time. Now, I want to make it clear that the most important things that you should buy in a full buy is a rifle plus armor plus utility. So the rifle are the 29 or 3100 credit rifles. These are the bread and butter guns that you should be able to buy with armor and some amount of utility before you commit to a full buy. Now, keep in mind what utility is important varies depending on where you're playing, what map you're playing on, what positions you're holding. There's a lot of things that can affect whether or not you would prefer to have a smoke or a flash or both with a molly. All of that can be different, but at the very least, a little bit of utility plus rifle and full armor with the helmet is at a minimum for a full buy. Now that we've established that, let's talk about a full save, which is where you want to save all your money, like every drop of it. And most of the time, you're going to want to do this because if you do save, even if you lose, you're going to be able to buy a full kit in the next round. So you're basically playing to lose, or you're not expecting to win this round because you're up against better weaponry. You've lost some rounds so that you're behind right now on economy. So you want to make sure that even if you lose this round, you can still buy the next round, and you're not doing this thing where you buy some things, but not a full setup. So you're really unlikely to beat the opponent's better weapon, and then you're in another situation where you can't buy good weapons, and that cycle will continue for as long as you keep force buying, and that's why you want a full save on certain rounds. Now, I will say that the strategy of a full save up against a full kit is really different than a lot of the strategy that you would incorporate throughout most of the game. Because untraditional strategies that play towards your team strength instead of the individual gun strength is often a very powerful tool to use to win these full save rounds. So as an example, let's say you have really great kits, full kits, rifle armor, all the great stuff, and you're on CT side. So you're holding sites, everyone's spread out. Make sure that the opponents can't just take a site for free, can't just rush a site for free, and you're just trying to hold your position and deny the enemy team's space. But if all of a sudden you're on a full save up against the enemy that have really great weapons, you can't leave 1 or 2 pistol people on a site and expect them to be able to hold it. So you're gonna mix it up. You're gonna 5-stack, rush a certain area, and try to catch the enemy team off guard. Maybe some of you die, but if you kill them back, you get to trade up for better weapons. That's one example of a strategy you could use on a full save in order to leverage that disadvantage. And if it doesn't work, you rush the wrong place, or you all just get mowed down, you were playing for the next round anyways, so what did it really cost you? Now, of course, I do gotta talk about full buy, where you're just buying the best thing that you could possibly buy as a team, and you're buying like a rifle plus an armor and a helmet plus utility, and maybe you're even buying an op. And are you gonna do this when the majority or everyone on your team can actually buy? And this is a really important point where your full buys need to be lined up with your team. If one teammate is buying a full kit and one teammate is full saving, then you have a huge inconsistency in the average amount of firepower and value every single player will be able to get, which is a huge problem, because our second golden takeaway is that you want to double down on the same strategy that your team is incorporating every single time. So basically, if we consider every single weapon and full kit that you buy to be a determining factor in whether or not you win or lose a round, you want to put all of your chips together to give yourself the best chance, or your team the best chance, of getting over that 1 round finish line. If some of you are buying and some of you are saving, then you have a much less chance to win that round than if everyone would buy, right? And that means that there's also a chance that you're gonna waste that money more so than you would otherwise. And that is the biggest thing. If you're going to invest, you want to completely give yourself the best chance of clutching up and winning that round. And that's why it's so important that every single person buys. And that's why if you ever see a situation where 4 people are on pistols and 1 person is buying an op, that is probably one of the worst economic decisions you can make, and it will lose you the game more than likely. Now, there is a third type of buy that is a bit different from a full save or a full buy. It is a eco buy. Now, this is where you are poor, or some of your team is poor, but you can still buy enough to where even if you lose, you can afford the upgrades. So the downside doesn't change anything, right? Whether you win or lose, you can still buy the rifle plus armor plus full utility. So you're gonna buy yourself a little bit extra to give you that clutch potential, a little bit more firepower to potentially get an entry kill, to potentially turn the tides and allow you to clutch up the round by yourself, or help your team clutch up the round. So a great example of this is if you have like 3,600 credits, you don't have enough to buy the full kit that you want, but you could buy a deagle. And then if you dink someone in the next round with the deagle and kill them and upgrade to a gun and then go and pop off more and kill some more people, you could legitimately carry that round or get a lot of economies worth of value with that one deagle. But if you just peek at angle and die, then it's no big deal, because you could still buy with your team in the next round. Ecos are really important, and it's very important to also not go too far. Keep in mind that with rifle, armor, utility, things like diffuse kits, the amount that you could pay could add up to well over the 4,000 range, and that might be more worthwhile to play towards that round with your team and buy more utility in that round than it does to buy yourself a deagle in this one. So just keep that in mind and evaluate the pros and cons of doing so before you commit to a certain eco buy. Now, there's also a force buy, and this also could be called a double save, or technically is going to be a double save. And what this normally is let's say you don't have a lot of money, but even if you lose this round, because you're so poor, because you didn't have a loss bonus and you bought all out and lost before your team killed anyone or did anyone in the previous round, you just got no money. So even if you save now, your team will still not be able to buy full kits in the next round. And that's typically where you want to do a double save, where you don't buy for 2 rounds in a row to stack that economy, most likely losing those 2 rounds, but then you get to buy on the 3rd round. And that means for that first round that you play, you just want to buy out whatever you can, because once you save twice, you'll have more than enough money. So you might as well just spend like whatever credits you got, your 1,300 credits, just to buy whatever best kit you could buy. This is where you'll see some really weird stuff like armor and a deagle or whatever the case may be, but it gives you the best shot at winning that round, and you're planning on saving the next round anyways, so it doesn't really matter all too much. But the most common mistakes that people are making in eco or in economy in general is number one, buying too low. Oftentimes people think they're gonna freaking get 4,000 credits in the next round and they're only gonna get like 1,700, and maybe you think, oh, I could just buy this eco weapon and I definitely will have enough to buy everything I want. And then you get into the next round and you can buy no utility, or you can only buy a armor with no helmet, and you're basically putting yourself at a huge disadvantage in the next round. So just make sure that you're more on the safe side with your economy rather than trying to be optimistic about you. Oh, I'm definitely gonna get the bomb down. Oh, I'm definitely gonna kill someone with this gun, so I'll make up the economy with it. Best case scenario, and yeah, you can make the buy, but worst case scenario, and you completely screw up the synergy of the team buys and your chance of winning the next round. And the last big mistake that is super important to make is if you have bought a rifle or something outside the norm. Maybe you're the only one on your team that bought a rifle when your team couldn't afford it because you had a lot of money. Or you bought something really expensive like an op. You need to commit to saving that weapon more. If 2 or 3 or 4 people die right away, go find a place to hide and freaking hide. I know it's not the flashiest play. I know it's boring waiting for the time to tick down, but that economy is economy that you can carry with you to the next round. All the armor you bought, the weapon you bought, the defuse kit, the utility, you can carry all those things with you to the next round, and you can be that X factor that can potentially clutch up the next round for your team. Do not throw all that economy away for a chance to maybe kill someone when all your team are dead and you don't even get to pick up that weapon and utilize it as much as you would if you had teammates alive. So the true trick with economy is that you should not take your own performance or your potential performance into account when trying to calculate whether or not you should buy or not. Never buy something with the intent to pop off with it. That's the only way to justify it. Oh, I'm gonna buy this thing, and if I pop off with it, then it justifies. Then it's worth it. It's worth the cost of admission. But just like in real life, people do that all the time, where you buy something expensive because, oh, I'm gonna drive this sports car all this time, I'm gonna save money on gas, whatever the I don't even know. We're playing for the guaranteed value, and we're playing as if we cannot control how we will play because we just don't know how we will perform from round to round. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, definitely subscribe to Full Force Guides and let us know down below if there's any economy questions that you have for us. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.